Hi, welcome to the informative video to the shake practice. My name is Mel. For those of you who don't know me, I am a certified movement analyst. I used to be a professional dancer and actress, and I'm currently studying core energetics, which is a deep form of psychosomatic approach to deep personal work. And I love it. And today I'm going to talk to you about the shake because I offer shake classes, biweekly shake classes, and there's so much about this practice that is unknown, that is foreign, because it is an exotic practice. It's not something that's common here in North America. And so I want to give you all of the information so you can decide for yourself if this is something that you want to dive into, you want to try. So let me see. I'm going to start with the history. Because of the fact that it's such an exotic practice, I just want to name that that it stems from other cultures, but before the internet. So Japan, Africa, Brazil, there's these communities where they would shake, they would pray, they would shake, they would call in the medicine of the spirit of shake. And this is before these cultures could communicate to each other. And they're so different from one another. So I get super excited and super curious because I'm like, well, this must mean that there's something innate about the shake practice, something in the human intuition, wisdom that called forth the shake, and the humans in these cultures, these people, they called it forward. And they incorporated it in their culture. So I get super excited about stuff like that. That it's yes, it comes from the human being, but it feels like it was channeled in. And I like that. I like that this practice has benefits on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual plane. It's so magical. So let's see. Let me think. I think I might, let's go into the benefits. The benefits of shaking. So as I said, it really has an impact on the physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental bodies. I believe that we have that these are all bodies that we have. And so on the physical plane, in the physical body, release of tension, more like fluids, it calms the nervous system, it helps to lubricate the joints, it softens the fascia. Like, it has so many benefits on the physical. It could be great cardio depending on how the shake is affecting you and in one particular practice. So yeah, super wonderful. And in the mental plane, it helps to clear the mind, focus the mind. I mean, we're taking in a lot of breath and bringing in sound, which I'll talk about more after, and continuously focusing on our attention and surrendering. And so it's like a meditation, and yet this meditation brings more aliveness into the body, helps us to energize, to tolerate having more of our aliveness circulate. And I'll talk more about the impact of that after. But yeah, it's such a cool practice. And so the mind, yes. And then the emotions, because it invites circulation, liberation, and confronts our our defense structures, which again I'll talk about more after, it might provoke emotions. And so it could be quite liberating on that plane as well. And then it's also a form of prayer, a way to connect to spirit, to a higher source. So those are, broad strokes of the or like highlights of the benefits. And so the invitation, let me go a little bit into the invitation of the shake. Like, how do we get into the practice so that you can feel a little bit more of the, like concrete actions that are taken within the practice. So it's really simple in the sense that everyone can benefit and do the shake, because it's really about listening to your own intuition, impulses, and rhythm. So I invite at first to tap into a body part that wants contact, that wants your attention, and see if it wants to meet with a vibration. So we invite the trembling to come into the body somewhere. And then we allow it to move, flow, circulate where it wants to go. And again, it's really about you discovering how to surrender and follow the shake in your body with your level of energy on that day. And how you're feeling. And the invitation is really to go towards what feels good. It really is. It's like, oh gosh, okay, my shoulder. Oh, yes. Whew, oh, whoa. Okay, now it's moving to my hips. Like letting that go. And it keeps building and building. And it's like waves, sometimes like, oh, okay, slows down. And maybe it's just a little bit of a tremble. And sometimes it's like I'm being possessed. And I say it often, like if you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening to my body, it's just like unwinding, I must look like I'm being possessed. Like, you're in it. It's a good thing. And it can be very scary because we're not often invited to go into places like that, to go to totally relinquish control and surrender. And it's like, I don't understand. My body's doing this thing, but my mind is not controlling it. What's happening? It could be extremely scary. So this practice could, be something to do, to come and do it regularly and go at it really gently so that you can build the confidence, the trust in your own wisdom, in your own body. And that's what's like one of the powerful aspects of this practice, is that it gives us that gift of trusting ourselves, of continuously having a place to go and listen to our own wisdom, to our own voice, to our own body, and connect with source. So yeah, your own intensity. Again, if the shake is big because it's emerging from the energy that's circulating and that you're not forcing anything, then it feels so good. And then you just let yourself ride the waves. And it could be a body part, it could be your whole body that's shaking. You can shake lying down, standing up against a wall. It's really about you discovering different ways of shaking to get into the places that you want to get into. And there's different doorways. You can really start by shaking from a place of intention. You can start shaking from a place of sensation, like shaking into maybe some sensation in your body from an emotion, or simply like looking to release tension in the body as well. So there's so many doorways, and depending on how you're feeling on the day, you choose the door that works for you, the entry point. I think I said that I'm not sure, but to go towards pleasure, I think think I did, to go towards what feels good, and it will guide you. And so let me just see, I have a little bit of a cheat sheet here because I have so many things to tell you, so I want to make sure. Yes, okay. So before I go into what could come up, just on a technical level, it's kind of like a meditation, as I said before, and it could be sometimes that we come back into our heads and we're disconnected from going deep in and that deep listening that the shake invites. So there's nothing wrong with that happens. I really want to emphasize that that's okay. It's kind of like when you start meditating, you sit down and start breathing and maybe connecting to a mantra, and you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden, whoop, like you're like, oh gosh, I forgot to put the stuff that was in the washer in the dryer. Oh, and then you realize you left, you come back, and you keep doing this, and then as you keep meditating, it gets you have longer stretches of being present with your breath or your mantra or listening, whatever it is, being with sensation. So it's similar in that way. So one shake practice does not determine the whole potential of your potential of having a deep, profound experience. So one of the things that I ask is to avoid dancing, to avoid flowing. The invitation is really to be in vibration and to let that, and this is what it looks like on me, everybody has a different way of trembling and shaking, and but what happens when we dance? There might be a few reasons, but one of the main reasons is because the trembling and the breathing and the invitation to make sound, which I will get to in a second here, can be triggering, because we all have, so we're made of energy, right? That's what we're made of. And so when we experience trauma, energy will block, will stagnate, will leak, will block, and so when we start to invite breath and sound and presence and movement, we charge the body, and it will come and confront the places that are not moving, because all this energy is moving, and it's like, hey, please stop. I don't want to feel this. And so there's an unconscious part of us, because it's all happening in such a way that maybe we'll have sensation, maybe we'll have emotion, maybe we'll have thoughts that are indicators that the energy is doing this against our defenses, but it's not like we can see it happening. And so unconsciously, the place that's trying to keep us safe, the place that put up these defenses to protect us and keep us, for us to survive, this unconscious place is like, I'm not doing this. And so what could happen is that we stop shaking, we stop breathing, we stop energizing, because we don't want to feel what might come up. And this is so valid. So valid. So there's nothing wrong if you start to sway or dance or stretch. Nothing wrong. I want to mention that this could be a reason. And then so if you feel yourself, if you catch yourself being like, oh, I'm dancing, oh my, you could, if you want to explore, maybe say, I wonder what I don't want to feel. And you might not want to explore it in the room at that moment. You might want to have some support afterwards. You might want to, come back another time and see whatever it is that you need. It might not be in the moment, but just to start cultivating an awareness around these places that are challenging. and to bring some curiosity. And because when we allow ourselves to feel, then these blocks start to loosen up, and then we can let in more love. We can allow more vitality, more pleasure. So there are benefits to feeling, and I could go into that in another video, but there are definitely benefits to feeling, and it can be extremely challenging. So I want to honor that as well. And this practice could shake things up for you. Pun intended. So yeah, dancing. The voice. So I spoke about the voice. I invite sound, to make sound. I make sound almost the whole time I'm shaking, because shaking, in order to get the whole experience, it's about surrendering. It's about relinquishing control and allowing the medicine to take over, allowing the spirit of shake, allowing your own wisdom to take over, to go towards what it needs to find equilibrium again. And the voice is a part of it, because the voice is our expression. It's bringing us the inside on the outside. And so it's very risky for most people to even just do ha. Even that is, because we've been told so much. Don't speak at church, don't speak at school, don't, shh, like, don't talk too loud, don't bring your voice, this is not a place where you don't sing here. Like, when we're kids, we're just spontaneous, I sing wherever, I dance wherever, I move wherever, and then we're taught to start to control. And even though it has its benefits, especially living in society, it also chokes our vitality, our life force, our pleasure, our capacity for pleasure, and can rob us of feeling fulfilled. So the voice is very charged in that way. And it's also a doorway to bringing yourself into the world, to taking a chance and seeing, well, what happens if I shake and and now I'm like sort of forcing it to demonstrate, but it comes naturally. And it's also like our vital energy is intertwined with our sexual energy. So it can sound very erotic, especially in the shake, because we're vibrating and whatnot. So that also can be something that is triggering for some people. So to consider, knowing that you might come into a space where there's a lot of sound, a lot of breath, and a lot of movement. And just to consider that in your nervous system, to see, is this a place that you want to come and explore and learn about yourself? And I also hold the space. I am present. I feel the energy fields. I help it ground. I call upon spirit. I am praying the whole time that I'm shaking with you. I've also started, I open the sacred space before everyone comes in, and I close the sacred space, and I use smoke medicines such as sage or sweetgrass, and I've started implementing it inside the practice. So also to know that there might be smoke medicine burning to help purify and move the energy as we shake together. And I'm also beginning to bring some touch to those who might need some extra support during the practice. And nothing is nothing's a have to. You know what I mean? Like I bring the touch if you want it. We talk about it beforehand, so you can always communicate before and during, like, I don't want to be touched right now. So other things to consider in the practice, especially for those of you who have done this a few times already, that you've come to my sessions and would like some cues to go deeper. A good way to start using this practice is to develop a relationship with our boundaries and our listening of our yes and our no's. So within the shake, I'm just gonna go on my knees here. It's much easier to shake on my knees. There we go. So I'm shaking, and I can start to listen to be like, is there a yes or a no emerging? And if it's yes, then I can internally be like, yes, yes. Oh, it's actually a no. No, 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 no. And it's going to inform my body. And then to allow this place, like this is happening right now. It's kind of funny. Like, okay, body, you really need this right now. It starts to happen. It starts to happen, and it does what it needs to do to let this energy circulate. Oh, it's so powerful. It's like I can already, it's been just a few seconds, and I can feel more aliveness all of a sudden. I can feel my body. I can feel my yes or my no. Like if I had to put a boundary right now, I'm like, oh, I feel in touch with myself. It would be pretty instant. Whereas sometimes when I'm really like, I'm kind of passive in my own body, it takes me a while to like, wait a minute, what was that? Should I, you know, but I felt like, whoop, like I just came back full on into my body. Wow. Let me see if there's anything else that I need to say about the yes, the no. Yes, so emotions are welcome in the space. My invitation is to see your emotions as energy in motion. So sometimes when it's really difficult to feel something, we want to go into the story of it, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we need details. Sometimes we need to understand what's happening. Like, I get that. And where transformation occurs is when insight comes is when actually the energy is moving, when the emotion is allowed to exist and to be embodied and to move through to completion, because then something else will emerge. But if we keep the emotion, like I'm not going there, then it will continuously ask in all sorts of ways. And it has a vibration, so it will attract experiences in order to be met, so it can be released, so it can be felt and move through. I hope that's clear, but I don't want to go too much into the theory of it all. But the invitation is to be like, okay, I'm feeling something, and if you're not clear on what you're feeling, I like to think of emotions in like six emotions. That's it. I like simplifying things. Joy, love, pleasure. To me, those have different signatures. Fear, grief, and anger. Those are also 3 different signatures. And so when you're shaking and you're like, I'm starting to feel something that might be difficult to feel, it could be like, okay, am I feeling fear? So it could be like, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. No, I don't feel afraid. I'm sad. I'm sad. No, that doesn't feel true either. It's like, I'm feeling pleasure. I'm feeling pleasure. Oh, I'm feeling pleasure. And then you're like, I'm feeling pleasure. And that might be the emotion that's really, really difficult for you to feel. And to see, are you willing to meet with it in the shake and allow it to just move? That's it. And just say that, like, without making yourself wrong, by asking shame to go outside, because I want to be in curiosity right now. I want to welcome myself. So emotions are welcome. Sound, tears, screams, they're all welcome. As long as you don't hurt yourself, don't hurt other, or don't hurt the space. Those are my only 3 rules. Don't hurt self, don't hurt other, and don't hurt the space. Okay, and then at the end of the practice, we organically slow down until the shake is almost imperceptible. And then we allow it to just come to an end, and we listen and we feel the vibration that's there, the energy that's circulating in the body. And we take a moment to integrate, a moment to connect with ourselves, to thank ourselves for really offering a moment of becoming alive, a moment to connect deeply, to listen, to develop our capacity to welcome our wisdom and to do our body good, our bodies good, our many bodies. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Let me see if there's anything I think I pretty much talked about everything. Yeah. So, as you can see, this practice is, well, I think it's pretty unique in that it, for me, the uniqueness is that it simultaneously helps me integrate into my body and have me connect to spirit, which I feel that most practices that I've encountered either like help me really embody, really integrate into, and there's another word, incarnate. Help me to incarnate fully into my body, and others help me to connect to something greater. And this one seems to do both. As I keep exploring it, as I keep doing it, and it is evolving for me as well, the way that I'm holding the space, where I started doing it with like for pleasure and with all sorts of music that was fun and wild, and it was kind of like a big shaking party, you know. And as time went by and I kept doing it, I was like, wow, the potential of this, the spiritual aspect of this. And so that's how I bring it now. I really consider it a sacred practice and a sacred space. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to answer them. I'm sure, like, if you're pregnant, if you're curious, I mean, I've been doing this for a few years, but in terms of like, if you've had a lot of concussions or pregnancies, or if you're pregnant, and there might be other questions related to like health and whatnot, like, write to me and we can have a talk about it. Okay. So next, well, I don't know when you're listening to this, so I won't tell you when the next shake is, but it's bi-weekly on Sunday mornings for the moment. And I would love to have you there if you haven't tried it yet. And if you've, had a chance to give it a go and you haven't been in a while, join us. We're a beautiful group. Like, it really attracts like beautiful human beings. And yeah, I just love this thing. I love it. I love shaking. All right, have a wonderful day, and thanks for listening.